The line between disinformation and misinformation is not always an easy one to find.
Governments need to be willing to do things that are out of their historical perspective, or for the most part, it's really a war footing that we need to be on.
It can happen quickly. A Marshall-type plan, don't mean to say that exactly, but a Marshall plan that can go into effect can stimulate change very quickly.
The distrust relates to the health system more generally.
A step up from the part of the government on enforcement actions against fake news.
I think a couple of things we have to consider are, even before this began, the anti-vaccine movement was very strong, and this is something specifically through social media that has spread.
Welcome to Event 201.
I think I got more blood clots. Cat's out the bag, all right? I think I got more blood clots, man. It don't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy. I got the doctor's appointment Monday to see what time it is. So that's what's going on. I'm not getting blood to my leg. That's why my leg is throbbing. I'm sorry to get that out, but thank you for noticing.
My name is Miami, and my story is I lost my son 3 weeks ago today due to COVID complications.
How old was your son?
My son was 31 years old. His name is Demetrius Thailand.
And what was the reason he died?
My son had complications shortly after the COVID vaccination. Started experiencing chest pains and on medication, and just suddenly stopped breathing.
So kind of a heart attack thing?
Yes, it was cardiac arrest.
Wow. How long after the shot? I mean, when was his last shot?
Shortly after, say about a week, started complaining of chest pains, rapid heartbeat, blood pressure, elevated blood pressure, and that's what happened.
And so how fast after the last shot did he die? Like, was it just weeks or was it years or?
About a year and a half.
Well, thanks for sharing this. And what do you think? Should there be justice for this whole situation with the COVID shots?
Yes, because I've heard from other people that they've had complications after receiving the COVID vaccine, and it's not FDA approved, and it happened so fast. So, I feel like there should be justice, because not only for my son, but for other people out there that are experiencing the same thing that my son went through.
Thank you for the testimony.
It's time to do something with it. And we know we're going to eat all this chicken salad.
These hot days, so sandwich is perfect.
I don't feel good.
Uh-oh.
Whew.
Uh-oh. Johnny, get you some pop. Johnny! Ow! Ow! Help! Help! Johnny! I can't get my phone to work. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Help me. Help me. Please help me. Help me. Hey, Neil.
The general rule of thumb that I believe everybody should adopt is that if any problem is being presented as a global crisis, then it is a scam. The pattern that we are confronted with is really the fabrication of global crises. The presentation either of non-existent problems or small local problems as being general global crises, followed by the assertion that the only solutions that are permissible are global ones that require a global authority, global control. The COVID policy response was one of those. Look at what happened to countries like Sweden or Tanzania, who tried to push back against the orthodoxy, the new orthodoxy. You see the cancellation and censorship of dissident voices rather than engagement with them. These patterns are proof of a scam. That is what people need to understand. Whenever something is presented as the science, as a consensus, it is a scam.
Health officials who call mass vaccinations the only path to a return to normalcy. Almost 4 months into the vaccination effort, providers are beginning to run out of people who want to be immunized. Beginning to run out of people who want to be euthanized.
Sandra Byron has serious medical complications from a COVID vaccine in 2021.
My hands have been rated as functionally useless. I can't be touched. Can't have a hot shower. Can't have a normal meal. My brain doesn't work properly. My speech comes and goes.
She put in a claim through a federal vaccine compensation scheme. That was 4 years ago. Now, all they have to show for it is a growing pile of letters from specialists saying the wait is worsening the harm.
It is also clear to me that the delays and financial impediments allowing Miss Byron to receive her full care has resulted in significant impairments to both her physical and mental health. How do these people sleep at night?
Charles, we're breaking in now with some breaking news, and this is really sad news in the world of NASCAR, especially ahead of the big Memorial Day race in Charlotte this weekend. We have just learned that racer Kyle Busch has died at the age of 41. He had been in the hospital dealing with a severe illness. In fact, you may have seen the news in push notifications like I did this morning that he was hospitalized with a severe illness and wouldn't be competing in the race in Charlotte this weekend. Our hearts certainly go out to his family and everyone at Richard Childress Racing. Fox 8's Danny Harnden.
What do you make of what we know so far? Just the calling of needing a doctor for a shot, we are told, related to a sinus infection about a week or so ago, and then being found unresponsive yesterday. So it seems like he was out. He was in a simulator. He wasn't like in bed, like I can't function, and clearly had some sort of an event where he died.
It's a tragic story beyond belief, and our condolences go to the entire family. But when you talk about a sinus problem, the first thing that comes to my mind is congestion. Now, you can have congestion from a variety of reasons, some of which are cardiac. A 41-year-old who drops dead, one has to think of a cardiac cause. So he could have been in congestive failure, heart failure, and that may have resulted in his feeling of congestion in his nasal passages. The other thing is that I thought of when I heard this was pulmonary embolus, which is a sudden cause of death, which is a blood clot that goes to the lungs and stops you from breathing. Now, he might have had micro blood clots that were throughout his pulmonary or lung system. And the third thing that I thought of was aneurysms. That's the explosion of a blood vessel, a large blood vessel like an aortic vessel. That's least likely. And then when we get into the rare stuff, as in my subspecialty, which is immunology rheumatology, we think of vasculitis. Vasculitis can cause a chronic sinus infection. It's very, very rare to have somebody die from that. That's inflammation of the blood vessels, of the nasal passages, and large blood vessels going around the heart. And a condition called myocarditis, which is inflammation of the muscle, would cause congestive heart failure in general, and a heart attack, which would result in sudden death. Those are the things
we all know about myocarditis from the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Some people who got COVID suffered from it, and some people who got the vaccine were killed by myocarditis. It happened a lot with young men, teenage men in particular, teenage boys.
There's a way out of this, isn't there? And the way out is vaccinations. The fact we're going to vaccinate nurses, we're going to vaccinate people working in care homes as a priority, as indeed we should. I mean, there isn't much we can do. So the way out of this is vaccination.
In the last 5 years, I'm up to 29 people that I know that have either had a heart attack or stroke. Not all of them have died, but you know, they're still suffering from.
None of them died, thankfully, didn't they?
No, a few of them have died, but not all of them.
And are they all your age group?
No, they've all been men actually, but they've all ranged from, the youngest was 35 and the oldest was in 60s. So they're saying that's normal age range for heart attacks and strokes. But before COVID, I knew of 2 people directly that had heart problems, and then after the jabs, 20 that I know have had strokes and heart attacks. It's
unbelievable. And when they go to hospital, is it attributed to the vaccination, or do they obfuscate?
No, they definitely don't blame the jab. I mean, there's 2 guys in my footy team. He was 17. He had a heart attack at school. Heart stops. He's got a pacemaker. Like what?
Oh, pacemaker at 17.
Pacemaker at 17. That's not normal.
No, of course it's not. And yet the obfuscation continues.
Yeah, no, definitely not related apparently.
No, well, thank God you made the decision to avoid it.
Yeah.
It was not easy, was it? But
no, it was a real big psyop, but it's all coming out if you care to look. Yeah. Most people don't.
We take vaccine safety very seriously. With respect to reports of people experiencing debilitating illnesses, I mean, we are aware of these reports of people experiencing long-lasting health problems following COVID vaccination. In some cases, the clinical presentation of people suffering these health problems is variable, and no specific medical cause for the symptoms have been found. We understand that illness is disruptive and stressful, especially under those circumstances, and we acknowledge these health problems have substantially impacted the quality of life for people and have also affected those around them. And we hope for improvement and recovery. And we will continue to monitor the safety of these vaccines and work with partners to try to better understand these types of adverse events.
Mass injecting of more than half the world's population with that drug is the worst thing that has ever happened in the history of our species, and it has happened now. And I know that's very, very difficult for a lot of people to accept, particularly people who've had it. But we are now living in the aftermath of that. And the repercussions are going to go on, I'm afraid, for a very long time. It's not like, oh, lots of people died, and now they've finished dying, and obviously we want justice. People will keep dying, keep being extremely ill, probably be infertile, affected in all kinds of different ways for years and years, I'm afraid. And people have to kind of accept that thing took place, and anybody who was involved at any kind of high level with making that happen is not your friend.
Where these messenger RNA Frankenshots come from. DARPA awards Moderna Therapeutics a grant for up to $25 million to develop messenger RNA therapeutics. So notice DARPA is the Pentagon. Let me repeat that. DARPA is the Pentagon. The Pentagon bought, paid for, envisioned these mRNA Frankenshots. And I should also point out Fort Detrick was involved in the development of COVID-19, the offensive biological warfare weapon at the University of North Carolina BSL-3. So the Pentagon is both sides of the argument here. They're developing the weapon and the alleged vaccine.
Wouldn't touch those experimental mRNA and gene therapy experiments, which I think, as you know, there's a lot of concern about it from quite a lot of medical people now.
All right, who's going to jail? That's all I want to know. Because it started with it was safe and effective and do your part and do it for grandma and you'll get a burger and a donut if you do it and you'll get to eat with your loved ones if you do it and you get to keep your job if you do it and you get to go see your dying loved ones and then their funeral if you do it. And if you get the thing, then you won't get it, I promise. And you won't give it to others, I promise. Oh, and your kids should get it. And oops, sorry, we were wrong, so now you need to keep getting more. And you're dangerous and crazy if you don't get them. Oh, and that heart problem and those seizures and that autoimmune condition and that stroke and those menstrual and fertility issues and those reactions and that death. Oh yeah, that's not related. Well, how do you know? Oh, it's just not related. Stop being one of those racist anti-vaxxers. Follow the science. And now here's how it's going in 2025. The FDA is planning to put a black box warning on COVID shots by the end of 2025. Now, what is a black box warning, you might ask? It's the strongest type of safety alert issued by the FDA for prescription or over-the-counter medications. It highlights serious or potentially life-threatening risks associated with a drug based on medical studies or evidence of preventable adverse effects. So again, the question we should all be asking right now is who the fuck is going to jail? Because you coerced and manipulated and lied to the entire world. And some of the people in my life that I love more than anything got a vaccine that you told them was safe and effective. And now you're admitting that it's not. with the most consequential risks associated with it. Kaylor, move on. Get over it. Yeah, that's exactly what a manipulative, narcissistic psychopath says after they lied to you and it all starts to get exposed. So respectfully, shut the fuck up and admit that you were wrong and pray that justice doesn't come after you. But it will if me and my people have anything to do with it, and that's the fucking vibe today, baby.